I don't believe there's been a single player out of high school that's been under more pressure than what Bryce Underwood is going to be these next couple of years in the pressure cooker that is Ann Arbor, Michigan at the moment. Michigan gave him a godfather like offer. They gave him an offer that he couldn't refuse, around 10 to 12 million to flip his commitment from LSU. The pressure, the expectations are going to be at an all-time high for Bryce Underwood. Is he going to bend or fold? Is he going to be able to rise above these high expectations? Is he going to actually be able to deliver upon them? If Bryce Underwood doesn't pan out, it's not going to be anything that's going to halt his career entirely that he can't bounce back from. Remember when Dante Moore went to UCLA instead of Oregon? He flamed out quickly under Chip Kelly as a true freshman. He sat this past season behind Dylan Gabriel at Oregon after he transferred there. He's going to be pretty good. Bryce Underwood, hell, if he doesn't play well, he can say, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and transfer to the school I initially was going to play for in the first place. He doesn't really have too much to lose, but you definitely want to perform when you're from the area. Nobody wants to look bad in front of people that they grew up with. Nobody wants to look bad in front of their family and friends. But there's more pressure on Michigan, Sharon Moore, this coaching staff, and this program to not only develop Bryce Underwood, but to also be able to win and win big with him. I am a huge believer in Sharon Moore. Jim Harbaugh has a habit of leaving places better than what he found them. When he left Stanford, he gave them David Shaw, and Stanford was a powerhouse on the West Coast for a lot of the 2010s under David Shaw when he was the head coach. Sharon Moore, he kind of concerned me the first half of last season, but the second half he turned it around. You upset Ohio State, you upset Alabama in that bowl game. You're able to pull off this big time flip, and you also have a really strong recruiting class as well. It looks like the trajectory of Michigan is trending up under Sharon Moore. And it's funny how just 2 games has completely changed our entire opinion for how we view Sharon Moore as a head coach. But he fired his offensive coordinator. He's bringing in a new one. This has to work out with Bryce Underwood, because if it doesn't, not only could it entirely alter the future of Michigan football, but he possibly could be out of a job. If Bryce Underwood just stinks it up, maybe this is just a 5-6 win team at best. And then if you can't develop a 6-star recruit like a Bryce Underwood, that's essentially what he is, then how are you ever going to be able to lure any other quarterback of this magnitude? Just because you got money doesn't mean you can just get any quarterback that you want. Certain quarterbacks are getting the same kind of money anywhere. Certain teams are willing to break the bank to pay for a certain quarterback that they really, really believe in. Bryce Underwood, you gave him an offer that he couldn't refuse. And you got to make sure that you get the most out of your money. You are now playing the same game that Ohio State is playing now, which is a huge reason why you can continue to dominate them in the game. But if this doesn't work out, this could have massive negative ramifications on this program. This is a local kid. He's beloved by this state. Everybody was really hyped up when he made this flip, even though they knew the motivations behind it. Underwood's development is going to determine the fate of Michigan post Jim Harbaugh. Sharon Moore, he's built up a ton of good faith within a very small time within this Michigan program. But if this doesn't work out with Bryce Underwood, it's not going to look pretty. I don't remember a situation in all my years watching and covering college football where you've had a recruit that had so much hype, that had so much pressure, and it's because of the NIL era. NIL has completely changed the game. Is he capable of being able to live up to the high expectations? Absolutely. You expect him to start. If he doesn't start, you're going to be saying, damn, if he is so good and we dished out all this money to get him, why was he able to win the quarterback competition in spring and fall camp? You'll be waving a red flag then. If he starts and he struggles early, you'll be waving a red flag. With more money comes less patience. The patience that you're going to have for a quarterback that gets this much money and has this much prestige coming out of high school is going to be very thin compared to any other quarterback that you would have gotten. Like the quarterback transfer that they got from Fresno State, you know, the expectations for him aren't going to be as high as what they are for Bryce Underwood. It's just with Bryce Underwood being 17 years old, he's built to handle this. I believe he can live up to the hype. I mean, you look at him, he's not 17 years old. To me, he looks like he's 24 years old. These up and coming high schoolers that are juniors and seniors at 16, 17 years old because they're graduating early. I don't know what their parents are feeding them at an early age now, but these kids are developing very fast. He's only 17. They say that you don't fully develop until you're 20 years old or around your early 20s. That's when you stop growing. He still has room to grow an inch or two. And he could max out a lot more when it comes to his weight, his athleticism. I mean, the potential and talent with Bryce Underwood is limitless. That's why the pressure is so high on Michigan to develop him. If he works out and he's good right away, that's what you expect him to be. I mean, 10, 12 million, that's more than what a lot of rookies are getting paid. I'm expecting a big instant impact. And anybody that's saying otherwise, I kind of got to call you a liar. Let's not act like you're not expecting Bryce Underwood to be better than any other true freshman that you've ever seen play. That's why the pressure is on. It's a pressure cooker down there in Ann Arbor. This is the most expensive and the most pressured quarterback in the history of college football.